Good evening, YouTube. You guys are now watching another segment of the TheCaliEffect. Today we're going to be doing the the Ninja TrapTrix hand deck profile. A very interesting deck, and I decided to completely revamp the deck just based on a couple of real-life playtesting, and I feel like this is a vastly improved version on top of the build that I was playing on Devpro. If you guys would like to watch the Devpro version, which is still pretty similar, it's a lot of similar concepts to the deck, it's definitely down below, and it's an interesting game where I almost completely gave up on this deck, and then I don't know, it just picked up after game 3 after I started playtesting outside of it, and it's a very fun deck to play. Let's start off with the deck profile because I know Lewis has been waiting. 3 copies of Grandmaster Hanzo. Hanzo's the key card to the deck. Hanzo is the only normal summonable ninja we run in this deck. Being able to search out any of our any of our Nujutsu art cards, namely being Super Nujutsu Art Transformation and the other Nujutsu Art Transformation. Just a really good card, allows us to make pluses because it gets rid of our opponent card and it gets rid of our card to special summon another monster that will be, normally it's good utility. It's going to be the biggest searcher of the deck. It's going to, basically it's what keeps the deck, I don't even know how to explain it. It synergizes the deck. Let's just put it that way. Next is 3 copies of TrapTrix Marimello, the main TrapTrix card in this deck. Special summonable by Hanzo into Super Ninja or regular Nujutsu Art Transformation. The biggest thing is when she special summon, she gets to blow up a back row. So if you manipulate it right, you can destroy your opponent's back row on their turn. So bye-bye artifacts. The next big thing is that you can normal summon her to add a trap hole card to your hand, namely being Bottomless Trap Hole and TrapTrix Trap Hole Nightmare. Just a really good control aspects of this deck, and it does add a lot of synergy, a lot of anti-meta-like feel to the deck. Next is 3 copies of Direct Guaiba. Now, how could I play Hanzo without Direct Guaiba? Guaiba is special summonable by Super Nujutsu Transformation Art. If it ever decides to run over a monster, you get to special summon another one from your deck, possibly go into a Laggy or a Dalka play or any rank 4 Exceed as you wish. The reason why we play 3 and not any other direct cards for Guaiba to go into is because Guaiba in this deck is so easily recycled, and sometimes we can even go Super Nujutsu Art for Guaiba and then have a Guaiba on our hand, or sometimes we won't successfully resolve one of them, and then the other 2 in the deck will just be fine. It's so many stipulations, but we really don't need any more than 3 direct Guaibas, and it's a really, really good card. Next, to sum up TrapTrix, will be TrapTrix Dionea. Dionea is going to special summon Marimello to the field, consequently being able to destroy one of your opponent's back row, also allowing you to get a free Exceed play. This is going to be the junk synchron of the deck and an extremely good card. Keep in mind that she can special summon herself, and if she's ever special summoned, except for herself, because you only can use one of her effects per turn, you can set 1 TrapTrix card from your deck to the side of the field. Just a really good card. Next is to Fire Hand and to Ice Hand. That's going to sum up the hand counterpart of this deck. This is extremely good. It has a really stun feel to the deck. Already on top of, since the deck is already an anti-meta deck, or anti-meta-like deck, this provides us, the Ice Hands provide us a means of back row removal, since we don't run Mystical Space Typhoon, and Fire Hands are the mean of monster removal, since there are some monsters that we can't Super Nujutsu Art Transformation it, or we just have a problem getting over it, or it's just too strong. Next is 1 copy of White Dragon Ninja. Now, this was one of the cards that I added in after because this card is so easy to summon. It's the best dragon target that you would want to get out of your actually in our arsenal with Super Nujutsu Art. It protects our back row, our trap hole cards, so it basically says no to all the typhoons, no to all the stuff the opponent wants to do, and we're going to get off our cards if you decide to fall into their circumstances. It's just a really good card, a 2700 beater. It does suck to draw this card, but I mean, it's the risk of playing such a great card. Next on for spells, which is 16 monsters. I'm going to run 2 copies of Pot of Dichotomy. We have so many different types of monsters in the deck. We have Dragon, Aqua, Pyro, Plant, Dinosaur, Insect, Warrior. Every single monster is a different type. So Dichotomy is an obvious auto into this deck, being able to recycle all of our monsters back into the deck and then draw 2 cards. It does cost us to skip the battle phase, but that's when we just follow up with a special summon play, destroy the opponent's monster and just keep it pushing. 2 copy of Lance. I feel that Lance is superior to Mystical Space Typhoon in this deck, just because this is a type of deck, like I said, that wants to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. I summon my monster, you Bottomless Trap Hole, and Lance, and continue on. Also, there's not a lot of monsters, a lot of cards that I wouldn't want to Typhoon, and I have a couple of other means to get rid of it in the form of Ice Hand and Wiretaps to get rid of the opponent's back row. 2-copy of Magic Planner. We run a lot, and when I mean a lot, a continuous traps, and this definitely merits it. Also, Magic Planner helps us get rid of the dead transformation arts when we exceed summon and whatever we want to do with the monster. Typically, they just sit there. So Magic Planner is an easy draw 2 card. 2 copies of Duality. We don't normally special summon like out the wazoo. Duality helps us get that search power and that utility cards into our hand. And then 1 copy of Reinforcements of the Army. That's going to sum up the spells at, I think, about 9. Don't quote me if I'm wrong. Now we're going to go to the traps. And I'm mainboarding 2 copies of Debunk, a very interesting choice. Now, my logic behind main decking Debunk is that most cards that activate and hand in the graveyard hurt us. For example, Trap or Artifact Moral Attack. They special summon Moral Attack on our side of the field after we summon Hanzo, destroy Hanzo before our Super Ninjutsu art can go off. Effect Veiler stops our Mary Mellows, our Dianas, our Hanzos. There's just so many cards that just completely say no to us. And so main deck Debunk solves just about every single one of those problems. I really like Debunked in this deck main boarded just because it gets rid of all of those threats and it helps us, it allows us to push forward. Next is 2 copies of Wiretap, and we're going counter trap heavy in this deck. Wiretap allows us to negate trap cards and then keep pushing forward. It's a staple. 2 copies of Nujutsu Art of Super Transformation. This card is going to special summon our Guaibas and our White Dragon Ninja, and also get rid of an opponent's monster. I just felt that it was too good to pass up. 2 copies of Fiendish Chain. I choose this card over Breakthrough Skill because it's a continuous card, has a lot of synergy with Magic Planner, and overall it still negates the monster's effect. 2 copies of Safe Zone. The Safe Zone lock with White Dragon Ninja is just too harsh. Like, that's the biggest, it's one of the best combos ever. You summon him and you lock him up with him. Your opponent can't destroy the Safe Zone and your opponent can't destroy the White Dragon Ninja. So it becomes extremely complicated for your opponent to get over this card. Also, Safe Zone is still a Magic Planner target. On top of that, we put it to an opponent's monster, we Magic Planner it, and then we just plus off of that. It's just a really, really good combo with the White Dragon Ninja thing going on. 2 copies of TrapTrix Trap Hole Nightmare. That's obvious. That's searchable with Mary Mello. Bottomless, a Solemn, and for the last trap, the regular Ninjutsu Art of Transformation. You're not really going to use this card that much, but when you do, it's going to be able to spot remove your opponent's back row, and mainly because you have Dianas in your hand that you would love to get off sooner than later. Well, that's going to sum up the main deck, so let's get on to the extra deck. Lagia, Dalka, Blade Armor Ninja. Keep in mind that Blade Armor Ninja still has Ninja in its name. You can target it with Super Ninjutsu Art Transformation, then get rid of your opponent's level 4 monster, then special summon Jirak Guaiba from the deck. I just thought that was extremely nifty for you guys to know. I'm sorry. If Gishki, Mirogis, Maystroke, and Black Ship of Corn. Those are just staples. I want to highlight Mirogis. Almost, people like to say that it's a poor man's Abyss Dweller. I want to think not, because it has higher attack, and in some situations, Mirogis is probably the safer bet just because it's stronger. Still just a really good card. I don't even know how to say his name. I'm just going to call him the Knight. And number 82 and Ragnar 0. Daigusto Emerald, 101 and Cowboy. Daigusto Emerald's clutching here. Dweller, Excision Knight, and Diamond Direwolf. That's practically going to sum up the monster or the extra deck lineup. Everything is level 4 exceeds because that's the only thing we go into. Now on to the side deck. I'm sorry. Thunder King Ryo, our only monster in this deck. I really wanted to main it, but we run so much search power that it would get in our way. Any other time, if we see the opponent's deck searching a lot, we summon Thunder King Ryo, we set 5 back row, we're probably going to win just off of that. Excuse me, drop the cards. 1 copy of DeFi, that's obvious, we're not affected by it as much. 2 copies of Kaiser Kalazim. Now, this was a very interesting choice when I was going through my thought process with it. We side this in for the decks that obviously love to special summon a lot, and since we normally only keep one monster on the field, whether it's Lagia, Dalkia, or whatever, we have a strong standing of winning that game. 3 Typhoon, obvious, probably drop them out. They're not that great anymore because of artifacts. 2 Anti-Spell Frigates, really good card for here. Shuts down Noble Knights, Spellbooks. And keep in mind that this side deck is really built for a local level, but this shuts down so many spell-reliant decks, it doesn't hurt us at all because we don't run enough. 2 Light Imprisoning Mirror, Bujins, Light Swarm, whatever, it doesn't matter. Soul Drain and Macro, that's obvious. I want to talk about the real MVP is Royal Prison. Preventing the opponent from special summoning monsters from the graveyard is just dope. Now I'm running out of battery life on my camera, so I'm just going to leave it at that. This card is nothing but amazing. If you guys don't have them, you need to get them and play them. They're just amazing for so many matchups. Thank you guys for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. Please like, comment, subscribe. Most of all, enjoy.